Hi guys, it's nice to talk to you after like several months that we didn't have AMAs. As you know, many things happened and the world is going through very tough times now, and our industry has some troubles as well, but I think that crypto actually will stand this test of time, and it will become like more powerful after all this is over. As you know, yesterday we had a birthday. We are like four years young, and I think that after all those years we are very well positioned to to achieve that holy grail that all crypto companies and crypto projects aim for. We are very close to mass adoption, and maybe you won't believe me, just because many people say this, but I think this combination of situation at global markets and our experience that we've accumulated over the years helps us to move now faster than we did it before. And I just published an article. I recommend you take a look at it. It summarizes our experience during all those years. And I will summarize it for you. I think that the products that we developed over those years, not all of them were successful right from the start, but this is a time for them to become successful and actually help people understand crypto and understand how Web3 can change the world around us. Actually, as you probably noticed, there is another thing that I should talk about at the beginning of this AMA. This AMA is conducted by Waves Association, and it's quite important to explain what this organization is and why we don't carry on as before. Actually, it's very important now to make crypto what it always meant to be, to make it decentralized. And our change of organizational structure is meant to make Waves truly decentralized. We have a decentralized technology, and now we will have a decentralized organizational structure. Waves Association is a non-profit association in Germany, which will be the pillar of a Waves community. It is meant to play the role that is usually played by foundations. But at the stage of development of crypto ecosystem, actually, foundations are somehow becoming the past, and now it is important to provide a more stable structure, the structure which is more suitable for decentralization, for decentralized networks. And association is exactly this structure, because it is like a general unit, community of people interested in the technology and working on it. Our association is just being launched, but once all the technicalities and all the organizational things are done away with, we will provide some crypto layer, and we want to create the first DAO project governing the crypto community. So there's going to be a proper association, properly registered in Germany, and there is some underlying DAO which somehow governs what this association does and provides a more decentralized and suitable for the ecosystem mechanism to govern actually what we all do. And I think it's quite important. So we have many important news, and nothing can stop us actually. I'm in the office with maybe 5 people, but all the rest of the team works as usually and is quite effective. And actually it's a good moment to think about how we work in general. I think after the situation is over, we will change the way we work, and we will be working also on tools that will help us to work more efficiently, not being in the same office, but in a more decentralized setup. And I'll talk about that later, and I hope that you'll ask questions that actually relate to these things. So guys, that was the introduction. As you understand, everybody has the same issues in the world now, but different people solve them differently. And I think crypto and Waves can and should become one of the companies that really brings value now to the table, and it's time for crypto and for us to start solving actual problems. So let me take a look at the questions you ask, and I'll be just picking some questions and answering to them. Volume up, okay, it's important. Volume up is okay. But other people say that sound is better than last time. Thanks. Okay, so I think it's okay. Regarding the recently released article, who exactly is going to take your role in terms of operational management? Also, can you give us some examples on how you will push the Waves vision in the future? So, as you understand, there are many projects in the Waves ecosystem, and I can't manage all of them. It's impossible. And I'm not trying to do it, you know, because it's quite important to have many projects which actually operate independently. And what I'll be doing in the future, I'll be doing what I have been doing all those years. I will be providing advice, I will be providing vision, and for some projects I will be providing some like operational management as well, but not for all of them. So my role doesn't change. I will be doing the same thing that I have been doing all those years. Cryptin is asking, how will the Waves Association make decisions? How will meetups occur? There's going to be, as I said just now, there's going to be a DAO which somehow underpins the activity of the association. It's going to take a while, so it's not going to be working like tomorrow, because we still are in the process of registration. The association exists, but we still need to iron out some details, and after that we're going to provide some DAO mechanics. So eventually, in the near future, the decisions that are made by the association will be done through decentralized voting mechanism, and effectively there's going to be a DAO which somehow connects to the regular structure of an association. And I think if we are able to make this mechanics work, it can be used not only for our association, but for many other associations. It can be actually used by any associations worldwide. So let's try to do it, and I would like to draw your attention to the fact that no crypto company has done that yet. So this structure is new. I think it's more appropriate for crypto companies. It's better than Foundation, because Foundation is very connected to funding, to ICOs, and you know, the whole crypto ecosystem now is not in the ICO stage. This is the next step, and associations work better for like the general governance. So let's see what happens, but we'll be trying to create a totally new mechanism for interaction within the framework of associations. Next question. What is the status of Gravity Hub if the concept is ready for the implementation? Good questions, and of course I wanted to talk about this, so thanks for asking. Gravity Hub is close to being launched in development, so to say. Yes, so development of Gravity Hub is about to be launched, and we want to do it in a way that might be very helpful for the future of development of other projects on Waves. So on parallel to Gravity Hub development, we're going to create a corresponding DAO which will govern the development process. So as you know, Gravity Hub is a project that tries to be somehow between different blockchains. So it's blockchain agnostic. And we want to attract people from other communities. We want to attract developers from without crypto community to work on it. So to do it, we want to create a more crypto mechanism, you know. So how is it going to work like in practice? So there's going to be some funding which is locked in a DAO, and there's going to be some kind of a governance committee that takes care of payments, evaluates the milestones, and provides some vision and takes care of the completion of that vision. So we want to create some decentralized governance tool which can be used not only by Gravity Hub or by Waves, but by any decentralized company. Because I think in the current situation, as I said at the beginning, people understand that they can work not in the office. And when you are trying to use those distributed collaboration tools, you understand that they are not complete yet. You, for example, can communicate to people, but, for example, you don't have the mechanics to pay them, you know, to do accounting, some like distributed accounting. And I think those tools are needed, and it's time to create them. So we want to create a tool which will help manage decentralized development projects. It might be not only writing code, it can be different things. It can be any decentralized distributed projects. So the Gravity Hub is quite important as a product, but on the other hand, there's going to be some like parallel mechanics developed at the same time. And Gravity Hub is going to should become, if we want it to become the cornerstone of Waves ecosystem, because it's going to do two things. It's going to connect Waves to other blockchains and other blockchains to each other, but on top of that, it's going to connect those blockchains and Waves to the outer world. So this is a combination of two things. This is an interchain protocol, and this is an Oracle protocol. It doesn't have its own token. There is no new token. It works with the tokens and with the economies of like corresponding blockchains. So it's a truly agnostic thing which stays between different blockchains and provides interoperability. It connects them with one another, and it connects them to the external world. I think it's a unique approach that should help interoperability, mass adoption, and it should help us connect to more developers within other communities. And it's starting now, it's starting these days, so soon there's going to be announcement, websites, and all that. So stay tuned, because it's starting right now. No matter what happens with COVID, we are starting this as planned. Next question. Thank you. I like Neutrino. It was a great project. Should we expect more of these to come? Sure. And as you know, we are working. Waves, like as an ecosystem, has many DeFi projects in the works, and we are trying to somehow initiate those projects, somehow help them come to existence, because I have made this decision to change monetary policy in Waves, because I understood that by doing so we will incentivize very many DeFi projects which are impossible in, for example, Ethereum, because we will have a different economy which is based on proof of stake, which Ethereum doesn't have. And by letting the community vote on the monetary policy, basically on how many tokens miners get, we change things drastically. And it's possible to create very interesting instruments such as Neutrino. And Neutrino, as you know, is an algorithmic stable coin which pays interest. Interest comes from like underlying staking mechanics in Waves, and it was impossible before we have changed the monetary policy. So we are trying to create a blockchain which is meant to be very suitable for the upcoming DeFi products, because DeFi, decentralized finance, algorithmic finance, intelligent finance, whatever you call it, I don't like the name of DeFi too much, because it's kind of like, I don't think this is the right name, but let's stick to it. Basically, we are trying to create the best tools for the future DeFi, because DeFi is the next step of mass adoption. We had value transfer, which worked pretty well, you know, Bitcoin, and the next step is also connected to value, to finance. It's like, you just can't avoid it, because this is the next step of mass adoption of crypto. The next step is algorithmic finance which is ruled by decentralized applications, and DeFi is very important for this. So we are making our network, our blockchain, as suitable for the future DeFi applications as possible. That's our goal. And of course, there's going to be many new applications based on this approach, based on the underlying possibilities that Waves provide. As for Neutrino, you can naturally ask the team which is behind it. As far as I understand, the next step in Neutrino development will be new stable coins, not only USD stable coin, but also some other fiat currencies. Also, there's going to be some mechanics which allows to lock waves in a smart contract and receive the same amount of waves in future. So it's going to be some like collateralized or over collateralized mechanics close to what you have in DAI, and many other things. But it's better to ask in the corresponding media channels of Neutrino project. Neutrino is not the only DeFi project on Waves, and there's going to be many more. But it's quite important because it's very close to the staking mechanics of Waves. It's very close because I tried basically to incentivize the emergence of projects like Neutrino. That was my goal, to create a mechanism which will allow people to create a new economy, new DeFi economy based on the underlying staking. So you have staking interest, and you can actually transform that interest into more like approachable mechanism which people know from like interacting with banks, where you can make a deposit and you can get some fiat interest, and you don't care about the volatility of the underlying asset as you do with crypto tokens. Here you can operate exclusively with Neutrino without even knowing how it works under the hood. You just work with Neutrino, it's tied to USD, and you don't have to care about crypto volatility. I think it can, it should, and perhaps it will be a product which will reach out to the general audience and will have truly mass adoption. Next question. What about West? Any use? West is, maybe some of you don't know, West is the native token of Waves Enterprise chain. It is our blockchain enterprise unit, and it has its own team. So it's, you know, so I will give like a general overview of what they do, but it's always better to talk to the specific teams, because there are many projects and in Waves ecosystem. So I can provide only a general overview, but if you want to know any specific details, it's better to talk to the representatives of the teams. So Waves Enterprise project is going pretty well. They have many updates. So there is a public network in Waves Enterprise, and there are many updates with leasing. So the leasing mechanics is going to be launched, and is going to be quite similar to Waves mechanics, many other updates, and many interesting products are being developed in Waves enterprise ecosystem, and they relate to those things that I mentioned, to distributed collaboration and to the updates of our usual interaction mechanics. So there is going to be some like voting tools which will help us to conduct decentralized distributed votings, and they're talking to many companies and to many groups of people who are interested in those products. As for specific details regarding the token, exchange listings and all that, I would recommend you to follow their social networks and subscribe to them. And as far as I understand, there's going to be many interesting things in the upcoming months. Hello Sasha, please tell us about the prospects of interaction between Waves and Waves Enterprise. Is it important for the ecosystem, and to what extent? Of course, Waves Public Network and Waves Enterprise are different projects. Waves Enterprise is based off of Waves technology, of course, as you understand, but it's quite different now already, because they're just, I don't think they're converging now, they are like going into different directions. Actually, because enterprise needs some different approaches from public protocol. The scenarios of blockchain usage are quite different in enterprise and in public networks. But there's going to be some interaction, of course, and I think one of the things that can connect them is the Gravity Hub. So Gravity Hub is going to provide the data from the external world. It can connect all possible chains, including Waves Enterprise and Waves Public Chain. So Gravity Hub is going to unite everything, including Waves Enterprise and Waves Public Chain. And Waves Enterprise Public Chain is quite important. Many people probably would ask, why do you need this public chain in Waves Enterprise? It's quite important because enterprise still can't use open networks, but they do need some services that exist in those open networks. So this open Waves Enterprise chain is an attempt to combine both. Let's see how it works out, but the idea is exactly that, to somehow bring some ideas from public chains into Waves Enterprise, into enterprise world. So in this setup, you do need a public chain. And actually, hopefully you'll see in the upcoming months how open blockchain ideas can work in enterprise environment. When major Neutrino update, when roadmap, please ask Neutrino guys. As I told you, there's going to be updates related to different stable coins. Some leveraged mechanics, over-collateralization, and stuff like that. So there's going to be quite a number of updates soon. Do you know when we will see more crypto gateways? As you know, probably all gateways activity now is concentrated around Waves Exchange. You can always have your own gateway, it's not a problem. You can launch your own gateway on Waves. But if you want to know about some new coins to be listed on Waves Exchange, you'd better ask them. As far as I understand, they're going to have Ethereum tokens soon. And what happens next, I don't really know, because first you have to ask them, and second, this exchange is decentralized. So we need to figure out if it makes sense to list what tokens it makes sense to list at decentralized exchanges. Maybe it doesn't make sense to list all the tokens, you know. Maybe we should focus on DeFi, and it makes more sense. What do you plan to do with WCT? WCT is Waze Community Token. It is used for voting for the projects on Waze, and it is being used, and it will have more usage within Waze Exchange soon. Please stay tuned, that's for sure, because they needed to somehow vet the tokens that are listed on Waze Exchange, because you can launch your own token on Waze Exchange, as you know. But for the specific details, you should subscribe to their media channels. What happens with Waves Labs? Good question. All activities related to grants and to education is gonna be carried out by Waves Association now. So basically, Waves Labs is becoming a part of Waves Association. And we're gonna be, Waves Association is gonna be doing grants. It's going to educate people about Waves technology. So basically, Waves Labs is becoming a part of Waves Association. A very good question. Is Waves Exchange going to do something like most exchanges are doing, like derivatives? Definitely, yeah. Actually, there are projects within Waves ecosystem that providing a new mechanics for derivatives. And as far as I understand, it's a pretty different mechanics from what you have seen in Ethereum. It's totally decentralized, so you're going to have some new mechanics based on right programming language, and derivatives, options, futures can become a real focus of Waves Exchange in future, I think. So as I said a couple minutes ago, they have to think whether they should list hundreds of tokens, or they can focus on a new product that can bring more attention to them, because everybody lists all the tokens, and it's not something new, you know. So, but if you provide a totally, truly innovative product, it can bring more attention. So, options, futures, and financial derivatives, which are very big now in crypto, actually, because very much energy is concentrated around derivatives. If you look closely at crypto ecosystem now, so very many exchanges, very many big projects, and it's quite interesting. Whether you are a trader or not, whether you support trading like as an activity or not. Yeah, I'm not. You know, I understand that trading is important, but you have to limit it somehow, because it can be quite dangerous for people, you know, when you trade with like 100 leverage, and it's quite dangerous. So, but on the other hand, there are so many different things, interesting things with derivative markets, for example. So derivatives are very interesting, and they are very interesting for decentralized smart contracts. When you are able to do all your mechanics, all your derivatives mechanics with just one smart contract without any centralized part. It's great, actually. And Waves Exchange is gonna be doing those projects for sure, because they are very important for the development of Waves Exchange, and they are very important for general crypto ecosystem development. Will Neutrino get an API for the third-party application providers? Definitely, they do have some functionality now, and it's going to be enhanced. How will you bring other projects into working with Gravity Hub? I'm skipping some questions. Either I reply to them or they're like trivial, so please bear with me. I'm selecting the questions that I see fit. So our idea regarding Gravity Hub is to make it truly agnostic. So there is no one chain which benefits the most from Gravity Hub. Everybody should benefit approximately the same. But at the same time, we are the initiators of this project. The idea is to create a project which is interesting for developers, they will see its potential, including the monetary potential for them. They will understand that they will be making some money if they code something which is useful for Gravity Hub. So we're going to be doing a DAO, a parallel DAO, which will help us manage the Gravity Hub development process. It's quite interesting, and it's a very interesting effort, which we are going to pursue, so please stay tuned, because it's just starting. It's starting these days, basically. So we'll have some announcement quite soon. What type of developer support will be provided by Waves Association? So it's going to be grant program, of course, and it's going to be education, as usually. We will be supporting interesting projects that use, for example, right programming language. We will educate people on the right language. And our goal is to support all meaningful projects on Waves, one way or another. Have you received FSB approval in Russia? It's an interesting question. Yes, because as you understand, we are an international project. We are not like a Russian project. Most of our development is based in Russia, but we have always been international. And we are trying to actually make our products accessible on all local markets where we work. Obviously, we work on the Russian market, and last week, yes, Waves Enterprise software was authorized by corresponding authority in Russia. There is just 120 people who watch your broadcast. You are terrible of marketing advertisement. Bear with us. I think it's gonna change, you know. And maybe this is a start of it, you know, so please bear with us. You know that people have always been not so happy with our marketing. But, you know, we have had so much experience with it, so we are getting better, and soon we'll be good. Please bear with us. How do you see Waves ecosystem 1 year from now? So it's going to be much more decentralized. We're going to have working mechanics, working DAO mechanics, which provides governance, probably not like for everything on Waves, but for many things. We'll have a working Gravity Hub, maybe not complete, but working. We will have many more different DeFi projects, which actually appeal to the general audience, not to crypto community. Crypto community is important, but my goal is to be like appealing to the general audience now, because it's more important. It's time to, you know, to get this mass adoption now. So if we are able to make something that works as clear, as transparent, yeah, as like regular bank deposits, and it is possible, you know, it is possible to pitch DeFi now to like regular people, to normal people. And soon I won't be surprised if people start to really get it, you know, and it becomes as accessible for them as usual bank deposits. It seems like not real now, but you know, give us some time, give the ecosystem some time, and maybe in a year or two, even with the current situation, but maybe with the current situation, because it can be quite helpful for the future of you know, of those new products. You will see that people start to understand it, and they start to use DeFi, they start to stake, they start to, you know, buy stable coins, stake them, and it's going to become like it's going to become a new normal. So, and we are on the brink of this, you know. So we need a push, and if the world doesn't collapse, and it won't collapse, because, you know, everybody understands that this is going to end soon, and it won't be back to normal in a way. The world will change because it was quite a stress. But this change might be positive, you know. So in this new world, those DeFi blockchain products can be something very normal, very accessible, something very, very obvious day to day, and everybody is going to be using them. They will become ubiquitous. So we are very close to this, and we need to make the final push. Are you getting better on marketing, but how? Okay, I can't tell you how. You should probably see what we are doing in the next few months, and please, please stay tuned. Maybe we'll get better, really. Will West outperform Waves on the long run? Explain your answer, please. So West is a separate team. I'm advising them, and I'm really interested in like general concept of enterprise blockchains. But this is the time to separate all the projects, and because we have quite a number of projects in Waves universe. So about like the prospects of West, you'd better ask them. I'm focusing more on general vision and probably more on the public protocol. I really like a couple ideas in enterprise, but my focus is more on public. West is just Waves Enterprise is just starting now, so let's see what happens in a year or two, because it's just starting now, and it's a very young project with its own ideas, with its own vision. As I told you, there is like a public enterprise network, and they try to bring the ideas of public blockchains into the enterprise world, and let's see what happens. They have a very dedicated team. They have some very interesting products based on Waves Enterprise chain, which are coming soon. So stay tuned, really, and I think it's all gonna work out. Let's see what happens. You can ask about the partnerships. There are many partnerships with Waves Enterprise. As far as I know, for example, last week there was Kaspersky partnership. So please subscribe to their social channels, because I might miss something and not tell you something important. Are you going to maintain price value of, or just going to make another project and leave Waves Investor on ICO priced? I really don't want to talk about the price things, guys, because we're working on the technology mostly. Price is important, but I'm no position to give you any financial advice. Yeah, I am in a position to give you some like technical advice. See for yourself. See what's happening in the next few months and decide for yourself. I'm not going to provide any estimate on any token values, be it Waves, Waves Enterprise, Ethereum, Bitcoin, or whatever, because I don't think that I have, like, the right to do it in a way, because I don't want to mislead anybody. So guys, please decide for yourself what has value, what doesn't have value for you. When we will see more transactions on Waves, we need more transactions. There is quite a number of transactions on Waves now, and with more DeFi products, there's going to be more transactions. And as far as I understand, there's going to be several gaming projects that can bring more transactions to Waves. So my estimate is quite positive, actually. What stage is Gravity Hub development at the moment? When will the first implementation be? It's just starting actually. So we have the concept, we are working on the details and the actual development. There are some prototypes in the works, but like organized, coordinated development will start around May, around the beginning of May. Neutrino listings. So Neutrino team is working on listings, and Neutrino is definitely going to be listed at different exchanges soon, because it's important for the mass adoption. About the fundraising, we raised 30,000 Bitcoin in 2016. Did you sell in 2016 to pay developers at low BTC prices under? So I can't give you now some like specifics about our like financial situation, but it is good, you know. So we are always trying to somehow, you know, be more efficient. And in the current situation, we have had to make some changes in the team, but we have a very stable financial situation. So please don't worry about our finance. It allows us to move forward. I'm not leaving Waves. I'm not going to make any tokens and any ICOs. So my focus is on Waves ecosystem in general. So I want all the projects on Waves to thrive, to move forward and be successful. When do you see side chains implemented at Waves? It hinges on the development of Gravity Hub, because we could have had implemented side chains on Waves long ago, but I don't know if it made sense or not, because in my opinion side chains are not so used now, so you need more use cases. And while we are working on the Gravity Hub, I think those use cases will emerge. So when Gravity Hub is working, this is when we need side chains, because of course you can have side chain mechanics. It could be very interesting, for example, to have a side chain for Bitcoin, but it depends on the Bitcoin technology, and Bitcoin development team doesn't want to make the changes, you know, so it's quite tricky. If you really want to make some like meaningful side chains, you need to make sure that the chains that you want to work with support them, you know. And if you want to make something like Cosmos or Polka, you really need to understand if there is some like urgency and need to do so, because as far as I understood, the enterprise blockchain, everybody wants to be on their own chain, so they don't really need to, you know, to be in some ecosystem. So they might need some data from other chains, but there is no need, for example, to transfer tokens between chains. This is the reality. This need might emerge in the future, but now enterprise doesn't really need it. They want to be on their own chain, you know. So side chains are quite tricky, yeah, but they are needed. Of course, you need some interaction between chains, but actually, it's gonna be happening later. I think maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years. And then we're going to have our Gravity Hub ready, working, and ready to be used. Will Gravity Hub be like Chainlink? Good question. No, it's not Chainlink. Chainlink is focused on oracles. Gravity Hub is focused on all external data to your chain. So it can be oracles, it can be data from other chains. So it's like all the external data. And it doesn't have its own token, no native token. So it explicitly works with the economies of the underlying blockchains. So if you want to become Gravity Hub node, you have to lock some Ethereum on Ethereum chain, or Waves on Waves chain. It works like that. It's very different from Chainlink, actually. Which is a cool project, by the way. Chainlink is good. No questions about it. What do you think about increasing token issuance fee to discourage scammers from making cheap spam tokens? I think it should be done through governance, not through the price of the token. And the governance can be done in many different ways. You can have your own governance on Waves because it's totally decentralized. What we, somehow keep track of is Waves Exchange, because as you know, and we can't hide this and we won't hide this, our original Waves DEX transformed into Waves Exchange. And they're gonna have some community mechanics to weed out scammers and to filter bad tokens. It's gonna be based on WCT token. And I think it's more effective, because if you want to scam people, probably can pay $100, not 10 cents, because it's not going to be a real barrier for those guys, So you need to have some more working mechanics rather than have some increased fee. I think it won't work in the long run. We understand focus on ecosystem, but you must bear with the community about the confusion in distancing from West after last AMA, where you were stating to focus on West. I'm focusing on all the waves, so to say. And now I think it's quite important to focus on mass adoption of blockchain technology in general, in different aspects. So I'm focusing on some mass adoption. If I can help with mass adoption, I'm helping with it. So I can see great potential in DeFi, so we're trying to provide some development mechanisms for easy and effective DeFi apps development. I can see some important activity in enterprise blockchain with mass adoption, because now we are very close to mass adoption in enterprise as well. So there are some scenarios where you need blockchain, and it became obvious only maybe a year ago, because 3 years ago people didn't understand how they could use the blockchain technology in enterprise. But now there is several scenarios where it does make sense, and it's very important. So I'm trying to push blockchain adoption in all directions, and this is my goal. Not some specific projects and products, but the mass adoption in and of itself, so to say. What about West? Are there important developments soon? Who is the principal engineer of West? As far as I understand, they are updating their website, and you'll see some members of their team at their website soon. What efforts are being made in order to attract larger projects to use Waves technology? So if you mean enterprise projects, these efforts are happening within Waves enterprise ecosystem, and there is quite a number of those efforts. Some will become public soon. If you mean Waves open chain, if you're talking about partnerships, I think that open chains should be focused more on algorithmic decentralized finance now, on something for the retail market. And I'm thinking more about mass adoption, through creating products which are interesting, which are accessible for the general audience, for normal people, so to say, yeah. Because we're very close to it. We don't have to think about partnerships, We have to think about partnerships with people, if you know what I mean. So we need to think about making products that are accessible to normal people. And this is going to be our best partnership. That's what I'm thinking about, and that's what I care about. I won't repeat the questions. I want to reply to the questions I have replied. So you got any good news for the Waves community? It is our 4 years anniversary. We have very many good news, guys. You know, because I want to, you know, to somehow give some overview of the path that we actually went, and this is like a watershed moment for us. So read my blog post, and it somehow gives you an idea of what we are trying to achieve. So our news is we have been working on the technology which is going to be very useful very soon, and we are on the brink of this. This is great news, guys. We are very well positioned to really enforce, bring, and somehow foster mass adoption. And we have the tools, we have the mechanisms, we have the applications, we have the experience, expertise to do it in the near future. And even the current situation with COVID, with crumbling markets, can't prevent us from doing so. So this is great news. We are very well positioned, we are moving forward, and what can be better? I don't know what. Drink my coffee, okay. Yes. Thank you. You have to stay hydrated in these difficult times. Thank you. Everybody's talking about the moon, so okay, guys, okay. I had the moon somewhere, but I just, you know, I put it away because we have to be focused on the technology, and the moon will come. When will the token rating system will be back and will be improved? The rating system works within Waves Exchange, and they have very many things to work on now. They have like 40 people who work on Waves Exchange, but they still can't do all the things we have and they have, you know, on their roadmap. So token rating, I think token rating is going to be back there around beginning of summer, and then WCT is going to be very useful again. So it's coming, and this is quite important because we want to make this decentralized governance, which includes KYC governance. So we want to make some like decentralized KYC within Waves ecosystem, and it's all going to be based on our old WCT token. There was an ICO planned for Waves Enterprise, and later it was postponed. Are you planning to conduct it at some point? No, there's not going to be any ICO for Waves Enterprise, that's for sure. It's going to work with the token it has, and it won't be selling it publicly in some kind of initial offering. Waves and WE blockchains will be sidechains of themselves. What do you mean, and when will it be? So I didn't say that they would be sidechains. They would have some interoperability when Gravity Hub is ready. So when Gravity Hub works, it's going to provide some interoperability for Waves Enterprise, Waves, and other chains. And probably Waves Enterprise will be one of the first chains to use it, this is for sure. But it won't be the only chain, of course. And Gravity Hub is not made for Waves Enterprise or Waves chain. It's made to be agnostic and always stay somewhere in between different chains. Sasha, are you a programmer too? I did program, I did code, but not much, I must say. Yeah, I can code, but it's not the thing I really like to do, so to say. I'm a slow coder, actually, so it's not really my thing. But I can code, I can read code, no problem. Can you light a candle for community? Guys, let's light a candle for the whole world soon, you know. So I won't, you know, do any gestures now because that makes sense. I want to do something bigger in the near future. So let me light a bigger candle. Is ways, especially ways of change, getting any pressure by governments? If yes, name them, please. No specific pressure, but the situation in crypto blockchain regulation is not easy, I would say. It's not about some specific country. Yeah? It's everywhere quite tough now. Yeah. But we'll crack it, you know. So, for example, we actually closed our Swiss company. It's been in the process of being wound down, so we won't have our Waves AG soon, but because it doesn't really serve the purpose, you know, because our purpose is to have a company or some like entity which provides some connection, between the decentralized world and traditional world where you have like laws, regulations and stuff. And association structure is suited better for this. So we are shutting down our Swiss company and we have launched the association instead. So regulation is quite tough everywhere because it's not about some like, it's more about people not understanding the technology fully. So it's coming and it will be there, and I think you won't have that friction soon. So blockchain projects will be regulated effectively in the near future, and you won't have the issues that we have now. And those issues stem from misunderstandings, from not understanding the technology fully, you know. So, but it's going to get better. So there is no specific pressure, but in all the jurisdictions where blockchain companies operate, they face some challenges. Okay, how will Waves Association be funded? Where will the financial support come from? It will be coming from the members of Waves Association. So, because they want to help the development of Waves ecosystem, and they will be providing some funding for the grants, for the education programs. So basically, soon we'll announce the structure, the membership structure, and members will be the entities that will provide funding. Will there be more usage for liquid token? Liquid token, yeah, I remember a liquid token, of course. Yeah. It was meant to, you know, somehow imitate, because we didn't come up with that idea for sure. Yeah, I won't claim that. It was meant to imitate Benko protocol, so where you can have some algorithmic market making, and it does work now. Actually, there is a product on which uses Waves and which provides automatic market making. It's not so popular yet, unfortunately. Hopefully, it will be more popular in future. Will the Beta token scheme be merged with the Waves Association moving forward? Beta token is a separate entity, but it will, of course, become a member of Waves Association, and Beta tokens will be providing the governance KYC for tokens on Waves, as they did before. And there's going to be actually a new phase, I think, soon, because there's going to be a new wave, I think, of tokens and of listings and maybe even of ICOs soon. Not only on Waves, but in general. So Beta Token Association is going to be quite useful for the community again. who can join Waves Association? Everybody can join Waves Association, everybody. Will the new Waves Association website show an overview of all the major projects? It will provide some overview of the technology, you know, but of course a Waves Association can't endorse, can't approve, and can't promote any specific projects. I hope you understand why. It's impossible because Waves Association is meant to support the whole ecosystem, and actually it doesn't have any like monetary incentive. So it can't pitch, promote, sell, advertise any specific project. Why Waves Association doesn't use WCT? It will use WCT actually, yes. Any news on Tokenomica project? It works. It works, guys. They're doing many projects now. Just check their website. Why are you asking me? I don't know. If they have their support channels, they have STOs running on their platform. Some, like, as far as I know, they're having some swaps when you can swap utility token of your project into security token. Just check their website. They're like alive and kicking. Where do you see the Waves ecosystem in 4 years from now? We want to become, as I told you, we really want to become the mass adoption chain, because I have always been focusing on features of Waves chain that can be useful for mass adoption. As I told you, for example, we changed monetary policy, you know, to make sure that our DeFi products can be interesting, accessible, and attractive for like general people, where you can, for example, buy or hold some product and receive algorithmic interest. So it's not connected to any party, so no counterparty risk. It is based on the underlying economy of the chain, but you don't have to deal with the underlying details, underlying specifics of the blockchain. You don't have to care about the volatility, and it might be very interesting for like general public. Yes, so our focus is about the 4 years, 4-year perspective. I really want to make Waves the tool for the future mass adoption of decentralized technology. It's going to provide a layer for DeFi, for example, decentralized governance, for like decentralized identity management, for many things, you know. So it should be more accessible than other chains. If you want to somehow compare us with other chains, it should be more accessible. It should have should be cheaper, have better tools, you know, and it should be focused on mass adoption. That's our goal, and actually it has always been our goal, but now we are close to, we're really closer to the goal that we have been ever before. As you know, the motto of Waves initially it was blockchain for the people, and we'll still stand by that slogan. So, but now it's closer to actually to fulfillment, to turning into reality. Is Waves technology prepared for human chip technology? It's a very interesting question, you know, but I don't think it's coming just now. So, and when it's coming, let's see what it actually is, because I think yes, sooner or later we'll have chips in our brain, but it can be good, it can be bad. So, you know, let's wait for it, and when it's coming, we'll understand if we want to participate or not. How do you define mass adoption? If you replace bank deposits with staking, this is mass adoption. Very simple answer. is Waves prepared for human chip technology, work with 5G technology? If you are talking about some like attempts to control the population, we are not going to participate in this. Thank you. So guys, I've been told that we should be actually winding down, and let's 5 minutes more, and we'll be over for now. So please ask some interesting questions. West token will be listed on more exchanges. I think it will, but you should ask them. I can tell you why it's not being listed now, because they're working on the technology, and when it's ready, they will be working on listings. Probably like that. Can you comment on Primal Base and Coinomat? Sure I can. Sure I can comment on anything basically. So as you understand, in decentralized environment there are very many different projects. Some can be successful, some not. Some can have issues, some can solve their issues, some can just, you know, close, and some can even run away with the money. You know, it happens as well, because it's decentralized. And the essence of blockchain ecosystem, you attract many teams, many companies, and you need to provide some governance level to filter out bad actors. And we are working on that as well, of course. But we understand that there is always risk of misusing the technology. As for specific Coinomat announcement, please check with their website and see what the progress with their problems is. Are you going to support any social projects inside the ecosystem? Sure, just we need to know what the project is. So if you just, you know, a couple of years ago we tried to support all the projects that use the blockchain, no matter what it was. It was even clear that probably that particular project wouldn't work, but we still supported it. But now it's over, guys. We won't do that anymore. We will support only projects that make sense, you know. You can't just do any app on the blockchain and expect that you're going to get paid for this. No, it won't work like that. You have to do something meaningful, something which brings value, something which like makes mass adoption more real. Then, of course, we'll try and come up with some like incentive for you, but otherwise, no. Why there are no Waves logo in the master suite office? There is a Waves logo, but not here, unfortunately. Heavy breathing, are you staying safe? No, I'm fine. I maybe some like some sound problems. I feel well. I'm doing lots of sports, and I'm very well, guys. Thank you for asking. Can I receive technical support for my Waves projects direct from the Waves team? Sure, you can. I would recommend you. It depends on what you exactly do. If you do something smart contracts related, please join the Right Developer chat. It's quite active, and they're going to help you. So, guys, last 3 questions, and we are done. But no questions are coming, guys. So it was a pleasure to be with you, actually, as always. And 4 years is quite a long term, actually. And my life has changed drastically in those 4 years. But I think I'm still every year I understand that all the truly interesting things are still ahead of me. So it's all coming. It's all just starting, and let's see what happens, because the world is changing, we are changing, Waves is changing, everything is changing, and let's see how it changes exactly, you know. So thank you very much for being active. We are working for you as always, and see you next time. Bye guys.